This is an anti-election. This is more about what folks are against and angry about than what they're for or looking for. And independent voters are swinging decisively Republican in this election, in part because they feel that what they voted for when they voted for Democrats overwhelmingly in 2006 and for President Obama in 2008 hasn't been resolved. There's out-of-control spending worse than ever. The partisanship is worse than ever. So it's another bet on divided government because they're going to vote at least, it looks like, 15% for Republicans this time.
But here's what's amazing, Anderson, and I hear that, John. Folks talk about a partisanship out of control. What do they think is going to happen come January 2011? Because the reality is, since the 2000 election, it has been very clear in terms of where we stand in terms of red and blue. And so this whole notion that somehow the people who you elect, they're going to simply bring everybody together, that is simply not going to happen.
But
period.
No, what they do want, they want some gridlock here. Americans are saying, first, do no harm. First, stop spending us in a hole. You know,
so they want gridlock,
for $3 trillion, you should be able to get a car out of a ditch.
Well, traditionally, when the American people vote for divided government, it's for checks and balances. And I think what's different here, what independent voters think they're doing normally, is they're going to force the two parties to work together. I think what they're going to find is that the partisanship is so poisonous right now in Washington that folks are going to come in and not look to be working together, but instead everybody to their ballot position.
Well, especially you have some of these candidates, especially Tea Party candidates, who are making a virtue of the fact of no compromise. Right. They don't want to compromise.
They're making a virtue of that fact, and they're appealing to voters whose first priority is not compromise right now. It's not working together right now. It's, we're really mad and really frustrated, and we just want things to change. You know,
so what happens when some of these...
And that's what I'm definitely hearing on the campaign trail, and it's what's propelling these candidates, Tea Party or not.
It's bombing onto American anger, and that's what's going to drive people to the poll. People who have something they want to vote against.
But here's the danger, is that you overinterpret your mandate, okay? Republicans could very well win the House of Representatives, do very well in the Senate, and the danger politicians always have is they say, oh, people elected me because they love me and they love what I stand for. In fact, they're doing it because they don't like what the other folks have done.
Well, if they're going to misinterpret, if the Republicans misinterpret, it's because they're not listening to anyone. Because it's been out there that this is not because they're so great. It's because people want some breaks on the Democrats. But let me tell you also what Republicans are saying now, and that is post-election, right? I mean, it's now all about post-election. And to the issue of gridlock, there are two templates for Democrats here. If you look at Democratic presidents who had to face hostile Congresses, there's Harry Truman, who went out and gave them hell. And there's Bill Clinton, who triangulated and worked with them. And Republicans say, well, what's the question here? The question is, what's President Obama going to be? Is he going to be Bill Clinton, or is he going to be Harry Truman?
Or
so
both.
That's what they're...
Or both.
Yeah, both. And he's
Knowing Barack
capable
Obama,
of...
Right, he could
There's also the internal Republican conflict between the Tea Party and the institutional, if you will, Republicans. That isn't resolved yet.